It started as an ordinary evening, one of those routine nights that seemed to blend into the next. My wife Emma was in the kitchen, humming softly as she prepared dinner. The smell of rosemary and garlic wafted through the house, the comforting scent wrapping around me like a warm blanket. Everything should have felt right, but it didn't. I sat at the dining table, watching her move about the kitchen. Her movements were smooth, deliberate, almost rehearsed. Her smile was there, but it didn't reach her eyes. Something was off. I couldn't explain it, but I felt it in my chest, like a dull ache. "Long day at work?" she asked, glancing over her shoulder. Her voice was light, cheerful even, but there was something in her tone I couldn't quite place. "Yeah," I said, forcing a smile. "Just tired." She nodded, but her gaze lingered on me for a second, longer than usual, before she turned back to the stove. It was such a small thing, yet it sent a ripple through my thoughts. I brushed it off, telling myself I was being paranoid. We've been married for 7 years, and I knew her better than anyone, didn't I? That night, as I lay in bed next to her, I couldn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling, replaying the evening in my mind. The way she laughed at my joke, but didn't really seem to find it funny. The way she avoided eye contact when I asked about her day. The way her fingers trembled just slightly when she handed me my plate. At some point, I turned to look at her. Her chest rose and fell, in the slow, steady rhythm of sleep. She looked so peaceful, so familiar, and yet she didn't. My mind whispered something's wrong. But what? By morning I had convinced myself it was all in my head. Stress, overwork, anything to explain the unease gnawing at me. Still, a part of me couldn't let it go. On a whim, I decided to take the day off. I told Emma I had meetings and left the house, but instead of heading to work, I parked the car a few blocks away and walked back. I positioned myself on a bench across the street, where I had a clear view of the house. I felt ridiculous, like some paranoid stalker. But as the minutes turned into hours, I noticed something that made my stomach drop. At 10 a.m., a man I didn't recognize walked up to our front door. He didn't knock. He didn't hesitate. He just pulled out a key and let himself in. My heart thundered in my chest. Who was he? Why did he have a key to my house? I stayed rooted to the spot, watching, waiting. About an hour later, the man came out, looking around nervously before getting into a car and driving off. My mind raced with possibilities. A relative I'd never met. But deep down, I knew. I waited until Emma called me at lunchtime, her voice as cheerful as ever, asking how my meetings were going. "Fine," I said, forcing my voice to stay steady. "Just busy." After we hung up, I went home. The house was eerily quiet when I walked in. Emma was in the backyard gardening, like nothing was wrong. When she saw me, she startled, her eyes widening. "Mark, what are you doing home?" she asked, wiping her hands on her jeans. "I could ask you the same thing," I said, my voice sharp. "Who was the man who came by earlier?" Her face froze for a moment. I thought she might deny it, but then her shoulders slumped, and she looked away. "He sees an old friend," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "We were just catching up," I laughed. But there was no humor in it. An old friend. That's why he has a key to our house. She flinched, and I felt a pang of guilt. But I couldn't stop. "Tell me the truth, Emma. I deserve that much." Her eyes filled with tears, and she sank onto the patio chair. "I didn't want to hurt you," she said. "I swear I didn't. But I've been seeing him for a few months now." The words hit me like a punch to the gut. I staggered back, gripping the edge of the doorframe for support. Why was all I could manage? "I don't know," she said, her voice breaking. "It just happened. You've been so distant lately, and don't you dare blame this on me." I snapped, the anger boiling over. I've been here. I've been trying. You're the one who lied. She sobbed, burying her face in her hands, and for a moment, I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. I packed a bag that night and left. I didn't know where I was going. I just knew I couldn't stay. The betrayal cut too deep. The trust we'd built over 7 years beyond repair. For weeks, I replayed every moment of our marriage, searching for signs I had missed. The late nights, she claimed, were spent with friends. The sudden interest in her appearance. The way she stopped saying I love you as often. It all seemed so obvious now, but at the time, I had been blind to it. In the end, I realized something important. Trust is fragile, and once it's broken, it's nearly impossible to mend. I still don't know if I'll ever forgive her, but I've learnt to listen to my instincts. That feeling in my chest, the one I tried to ignore, was right all along. As for Emma, I don't know what became of her. We haven't spoken since the divorce was finalized. Sometimes I wonder if she regrets it. If she thinks about me the way I think about her, but then I remind myself that wondering won't change anything. The past is the past, and some doors are better left closed.